it seems you can do anything in American football short of using a Tommy gun, so you mustn't expect me to explain the rules.
Players wear so much clothing, it's a wonder they can move at all.
Great deal for all the players in the league and everything else. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
I was a sixth-round pick. I was a 199th pick. I never forgot that. I still haven't forgot that to this day. It was the first time I really got to choose. Devin, you didn't get to choose. Levante, you didn't choose. Mike, you didn't choose. You got picked. I got a chance to choose. And everyone always says, why the Bucs, man? Why did you choose the Bucs? And it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer.
This is Any Given Wednesday, the NFL podcast where two overseas fans delve into the NFL's glorious past in an attempt to greater understand its fascinating present. So whether you're still grappling with the fact that a safety can be both a player and a thing, or you're someone who's been around long enough to remember when the Rams came from St. Louis, this is the podcast for you. I'm Tom Parry, and it is my pleasure to be the Rob Gronkowski to this man's Tom Brady. Yes, if the word GOAT is bandied around a little too much these days, then this guy is the BOAT. He's the best of all time, the bronzed of all time, the Barry of all time, and yes, the Bubbins of all time. It's Mr. Mike Bubbins, everybody.
I got to get these framed, mate. I got to get these framed.
If this podcast was just me introducing you and then we say goodbye, you'd be happy, wouldn't you?
I'm happy with that. But the end of the last series, I did a John Facenda one for you. I don't know when you want your next John Facenda. I can't churn them out like you can. You're a machine.
Yeah, that's it.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, I think
before Christmas, before the end of the season.
I was going to say that's it. It's my
you'll
birthday
have a
just before
Facenda.
Christmas. Give me a Facenda.
When is the birthday?
16th of December. So there you go.
There we are, mate.
And then
the nearest record to that is you're getting John Facenda.
Great. And I'll tell you what, when we do move into the Patreon realm, listeners, if you want a personal Facenda sent to you, then we'll be able to facilitate that.
There we go. I'm not doing it for free, but if you give me it'd be like the best cameo of all time. I'll do full John Facenda.
That's it.
Give me a few details.
Beautiful.
He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, everybody listened. Yeah,
it's good. It's really good.
The National Football League. The meek shall never inherit this turf. A place for no holds barred warfare. Yeah, all that sort of stuff.
To me, that's like you're so ready with that. It's like your internal monologue is like an internal monologue.
Yeah. Cheese on toast. I do all the time, just, can't switch off.
What are you going to have for tea? I haven't got a lot of time. Cheese on toast.
He'll have a flat white with one sugar because he's Hollywood handsome and cowboy tough. What?
Huh?
What's coffee mug, is it? Yes, please.
Did you get to watch any of Monday Night Football last night, Bubs?
I didn't see it. Did you watch it?
No.
I've got it recorded.
Yeah.
Obviously recorded. It's on fucking... Can I swear? Sorry about swearing. I'm tired. I've been mowing the lawn.
Oh, sorry.
No, I didn't. What happened?
All I know is that the Broncos lost, I think, heavily. And I think the Dolphins beat the Jets.
I do sneakily like the Dolphins, going back to our earlier discussion about Mr. Marino.
Yeah, I know. They're one of those clubs that it's hard not to just get starry-eyed over, isn't it?
It is.
I've got a question for you. This is something I've been wanting to ask you for the last couple of weeks, really. Talking about something we noticed about football during the week and stuff. There was a big story coming out of the Titans, who aren't very good.
Yes.
It's historically not a very good franchise.
No.
I don't know if they've ever. I don't think have they ever won a Super Bowl, the Titans?
Oh, I don't think they have, mate. Nor have Houston, which is the old Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, okay.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. But anyway, the head coach Brian Callahan was giving up play calling duties so that he could focus on the bigger picture at the club.
Okay, like offensive coordinator, doing all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because that's what I think there is a big difference with how the NFL is ran compared to how our football's ran. In that,
Yeah, there is.
There is a head coach, there is a
Yeah.
defensive coordinator, and an offensive
Yeah.
coordinator. Now, currently, Brian Callahan isn't calling the plays during the game, which begs the question, like, what is he doing? But like,
do you know this? Go on. What's the question?
Well, that's the question. Is like, what is the role of the head coach when he isn't the play callers? Because there are most teams now. You know, your defensive coordinator will call the game. You know, he'll be up in the booth looking down, calling the game. So does the head coach have no say over what the defense is doing in that game, or is he in constant communication? Like, what's the setup, basically?
The short answer is it depends on the head coach and the franchise. It is more usual for the head coach not to call the plays.
Right.
Or it certainly was. I mean, maybe that's changing a little now, but you would have a defensive coordinator calling your defensive plays. You would have an offensive coordinator calling your offensive plays, and your head coach sort of overseeing operations. Now, some head coaches will take on a lot of the offensive duties, and sometimes all of them.
Right.
Some will take on a lot of the defensive duties. People like Belichick were very defensively minded. They came from like defensive coordinator roles into head coaching positions.
Yeah.
So it depends what sort of route you took. If you went sort of positional coach, linebackers, defensive backfield into like defensive coordinator into coaching, you're probably going to be defensively minded. So you may end up getting more involved with defensive play calling, and then the opposite is true. You're a receivers coach or a quarterback coach, you end up being an offensive coordinator, you end up being a head coach, you're going to be more offensively minded. If you're someone like, I'm not picking on Jerry Jones, I've got a lot of time for the man. If you're someone like the Cowboys,
Yeah.
I mean, there were rumors that he was, insisting on certain plays being called, I'm not sure how true that is.
Right.
But I think if the owner starts calling plays,
then you've got problems.
You're in a world of shit usually. Especially if the Packers do it, mate, because there'll be about 225,000 owners. So it's not unusual at all to not call the plays. And I mean, in the old days, the quarterback would also call their own plays.
But does that mean that when the head coach is on the side, say there's a minute 30 on the clock and it's third and long, and you need to come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
Does the head coach just sit back and see what his offensive coordinator does? Or do they? Again,
it'll depend. They'll have the headsets on all the time.
Right. Yeah.
There'll be scenarios scripted ready for that, which the offensive coordinator will know. We've got 90 seconds left. We're third and long. What do we do? What personnel do we need? What formation are we going to be in? And the quarterbacks know that, and the head coach will know that. So, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the head coach is the boss. If he thinks something is on, then
he'll step in and
he'll override it. Yeah, but then, the reason that quarterback is such a key position is 20 seconds before the snap, that might get switched off, and then if you get to the line of scrimmage and think, actually, you're both wrong, we need to call this. It's down to you. But that's a ballsy
Dan Marino. Dan Marino says, we're going to throw it, actually.
Yeah. Run? Don't think so. What's this one, Dan? Right, we're going to fake the run. Right, Dan, all your plays start with fake the run. No, they don't. Some don't even bother to fake the run.
Yeah, fascinating.
I played rugby once. On my 18th birthday, it was my first ever game for my local club's first team on tour down in Cornwall.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know much about rugby, I played in the centre of that game, which is like in the backs, an attacking position. And we had an outside half, which is the player inside me, was an older guy, and I was new.
Yeah.
And every move he had, he'd call all the team and say, we're going to run this. We're going to run Rangy 2. I said, what's that? He said, we miss you out. Go straight to the outside centre. Okay. Right, what's this? This is a Rangy 2, Rangy 3. What's Rangy 3? What's Rangy 3? I pretend to pass to you. I dummy to you. And then I go... And about 15 minutes in, I went, fuck this. And there was a move on, and I just took the ball off him and scored a try, thankfully. But I mean, I'm not staying here for 18 minutes with every single play involves not giving me the ball.
Rangy 7, you invented you did. Fuck this.
Yeah, the Marino approach. But I think Peyton Manning was probably the last quarterback to call his own plays.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Not all the time. Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's a real. I mean, the buck stops with the head coach, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
sometimes, go on.
Well, it's interesting what we're going to talk about this week. We will come on to it in a bit, But it is very interesting when you look at, because it is such a, when people say it's a game of chess and these guys are kind of trying to outsmart each other from the sidelines. There is a certain element of that where, with the Tom Brady debate of like, was it Tom Brady? Was it Bill Belichick? Obviously the answer's more complicated than that. What's that?
We'll come on to that very shortly.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's it. And it's just very interesting to see like how much a great team is actually about it being a great coach or a great strategy. Or
that's the thing, and that's you look at the Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys, right? And then the one that I always think of, and it's like the archetypal one. So you have Dick Caruso. We should do this, really. We do the 46 defense and Buddy Ryan and that Bears team.
Yeah.
We should do that as one for the Bears. Because he was a tight end, worshipped in Chicago, tough player, ends up head coaching of his team. So he's like a proper Chicago man through and through, offensively minded. And then Buddy Ryan comes in, who's this defensive genius, and they run that amazing 46 defense. They win a Super Bowl because they've got a very, very solid offense, and that's not doing it disservice, but it was quite run-based with people. Obviously, you've got Walter Payton there else. But it wasn't like Jim McMahon ever. And I'm not knocking Jim McMahon. He played in the NFL for years and years and years. But he wasn't like he was no Tom Brady.
He was a solid quarterback.
Solid. Bit wacky, but
yeah.
But a superb defense and a good running game. And they won that Super Bowl. And I remember thinking, these are unstoppable. They've just got everything, as a team. When you look at what sort of teams win championships, the old adage that offense wins games and defense wins championships, right? But they just couldn't get on because Dicker and Ryan hated each other. They couldn't work together, and they never achieved anything individually.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It is, yeah. And
it leads in nicely, I think, to today's discussion. But anything else off the top before we get to that?
Well, I'll try to read an email. We've had a few come in and keep them coming in. Any given Wednesday pod. We'll stick the address, in the link, and the Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. Speak pipes, of course.
Love a speak pipe. We love the speak pipes.
We love speak pipes around here. But we got this email through which says, "Hi both, love the show. I started watching the Gridiron back in 1986 when it all started on Channel 4, I guess. We used to play during break at school with various branded mini balls.
Yes.
I remember Cowboys, Redskins and Dolphins balls, used in rotation, depending who had remembered a ball that day. I also remember poring over the official American Football magazine series. And this is where I picked my team.
The numbered one.
Yeah, lovely. There you go. Issue 1, the 49ers with Ricky Moore on the front. This brings me to the point of my email.
Good team to pick in the 80s.
Well, there you go.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Good choice.
This brings me to the point of my email. I chose the 49ers based on this picture alone, the picture from the front of the American Football magazine.
Nice.
I was unaware that I'd picked the most winningest franchise of the time in the 80s. It's akin to becoming a Man United fan in 1996 or something. Allied to this, I also think of snow when I think of NFL, but San Fran is no good for this vista. So, am I allowed to adopt a second or equal team, one without the contemporaneous glory and with proper winter? Give me your suggestions. Cheers and keep up the good work, Matt Brammer.
All right, Matt, let's have a think. First of all, good choice on the 49ers. God, they were a great team in the 80s. Oh, I love watching those play. Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. And then Montana left thinking he can never be replaced. Then they bring in Steve Young.
Steve Young.
My God.
Amazing.
I'll whisper this. I preferred Steve Young.
Is that true?
I love Steve Young. One of my favorite players ever.
He only won. Did he only win one Super Bowl? It felt like he. I think
I can't. Yeah. But he was at USFL before that as well, wasn't he? And
right. Yeah.
Left-handed quarterback. Always looked super cool.
He did look cool.
It's a top. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if someone said to me, "Do you want Joe Montana?" I'd bite your hand off. But as handovers go, Montana to Steve Young is even better than Rodgers, than Favre to Rodgers.
Yeah,
Right, question. I immediately thought the Packers. Then he said, not particularly successful. Wrong team for you.
Well, I mean, I think if you're going to try and avoid this idea of hopping on a gravy train for glory, then I think
got a team.
There are a good few winter teams that can offer you.
I got a good team. You've gone for glamour. You've gone for the cover boys. You've gone for the most successful team in the 80s at the time.
Yeah.
You've gone for sunshine. You've gone for the California lifestyle. Let's go opposite.
Yeah.
Let's go blue collar. Let's go urban. Let's go unglamorous. Let's go unstoried since the 1950s.
Ooh.
Let's go not even so much as a logo on the helmet. Let's go Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, okay. Let's go Cleveland
Dog
Browns.
Pound.
Yeah.
Freezing cold, tons of snow, a lack of success.
Yeah, you'll be yearning for San Francisco. you'll be on the first plane back to San Francisco.
The Browns.
I mean, that's great. Yeah, I was going to say Jets, and I think when you started describing it, I thought you were going to go, and then it was. I think the
Browns glamour the Jets though.
Yeah, the old Joe Namath
sprayed his pizzazz all over the team. Yeah. That's the thing.
And other things all over town. But I think it doesn't come less glamorous than the Cleveland Browns.
I'll tell you what, nice call back to the top of the show there, mate, because you said, if you can remember the days of the St. Louis Rams, well, let's not forget they started off as the Cleveland Rams.
Did they really?
Yes.
Bucs.
Way back when, 1930s.
This I did not know.
Yeah.
So Cleveland had the Rams, and then they lost the Rams. Then they had the Browns, and then they lost the Browns to the Ravens. Is that right?
Correct.
And then they rebuilt as the Browns again.
Correct.
Wow.
Super Bowl 34, January 2000. Tennessee Titans against the greatest show on turf, of course, the St. Louis Rams. Previously the Cleveland Rams. So the Tennessee have been to a Super Bowl. They lost 23-16 to the Rams.
But they haven't won.
That's weird. That period of time, I'd say I completely missed out all the Rams thing. I didn't watch any football. I don't know why. For 2 or 3 years, I didn't see any football.
Yeah.
And I got straight back into it. I think maybe, yeah.
Well, when you came back, they'd moved to LA.
So they were LA. Then they went to St. Louis. Then they went back to LA briefly. Oh, I get confused with the Rams. They're one of those ones that.
Yeah.
I remember the Rams had an owner. I think they're the first female owner. Georgia Frontier was the owner at one point.
Great name.
I think they played the second American Bowl when they played over here in '87, maybe. Off the top of my head. Bears and Cowboys played the first one, but I think they played the second one. Might be wrong. I like to throw facts out there, Tom. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never know. There's no way of fact checking.
No way. Only there was some way you could check things instantly these days.
Well, there you go, Matt. We're not giving you the Rams, even though
Cleveland Browns, mate.
We're giving you the Cleveland Browns. Exactly right.
Get in the dog pound.
Get in the dog pound, and there's your yin and your yang.
Think of a less San Francisco team than Cleveland. Lovely.
Yeah. Perfect counterbalance.
Named after their coach, of course, Paul Brown. Although their most famous player of all time would have been Jim Brown. Cannonball Jim Brown.
We should look at. Well, we'll look at the Browns soon.
Do you know, arguably one of the best teams ever. That 50s Brown team, because they won everything in the AAFC.
I was going to say they were like
and they merged with the NFL, and they said, "Yeah, let's see what we like against the big boys." Okay, we'll win that. We'll win that as well. Yeah. They were a really, really good side.
We'll do the Browns at some point.
Do the Browns?
Yeah, we got it coming up.
We could either do that. We could either do that part of the Browns, or we could do when they left, and they retained the city of Cleveland retained the name Cleveland Browns. So they couldn't call the Baltimore Ravens the Baltimore Browns. So they changed. They changed it, but Cleveland kept the name of Browns, and I think if they didn't contest the move, I might be wrong on this as well, Tom, but I'm going to keep checking these facts out.
Yeah.
I think if Cleveland didn't contest the move, the NFL would give them another franchise within, I think it was 4 or 5 years.
Right, okay.
And there was a countdown clock in the middle of Cleveland. Days, minutes, hours until the return of the Cleveland Browns.
Amazing. And they haven't won anything since they returned to Cleveland, I don't think.
I don't think so.
They haven't had a particularly storied time, have they? Really, when you think about Cleveland Browns,
Bernie Kosar in the 80s, briefly, we thought here we go, but nothing happened.
Well, you'll be disappointed to hear, Matt, that they're your new team.
Yeah, well, mate.
Sorry, buddy. Right, well, keep those emails coming in. Let's get into this week's franchise. Now, each week we choose a different team from the NFL and focus in on one aspect of their past. It might be a great season, a player, something about the fans, the stadium, great games, a particular play. This week we are talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, are they quite a new team to the NFL? Were they an expansion?
They were a 70s expansion team.
70s expansion team.
I think when they went from 26 to 28, I think it was Tampa Bay. And I think Seattle rings a bell as well. Again, Tom, we're throwing these out there.
No, you're right. It was the same year. It was the same year as Seattle, yeah. Seattle and Tampa Bay came about at the
People
same
think I
time.
Google this stuff, but it's just stuck in my head and it just pops out in weird times.
Yeah, you're right.
I love this podcast because I can just, you don't understand the hardship the rest of my week trying to drop obscure NFL facts on people that aren't interested.
Yeah, this is your place.
This is me, man.
We're going to be looking at a more recent time, though, of that. We're going to look at the story of Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, having won 6 Super Bowls, the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick. And when people thought maybe Brady was due to retire, instead, in free agency, he goes to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And incredibly, he goes to a team that haven't made the playoffs in 13 years.
It's unbelievable.
A team, I think, with the worst winning, in terms of winning statistics, they had the worst stats of all the franchises in the NFL in their history. And Brady goes there and in his first season wins the Super Bowl. A hell of a story.
Well, it's an incredible story. And I love it when the sporting gods conspire sometimes, right? To give you, these Hollywood stories, right? So we mentioned coaches and quarterbacks and controversies and, and that the Belichick versus Brady thing. I've always been, and you can, if I was still on Twitter, you could check my tweets going back, but I'm not on Twitter anymore. I've never knocked Tom Brady as a player. He is utter class. All that sort of about he's a system quarterback. You can slot anybody into a Bill Belichick offense, and the defense wins the games. And he's just a bullshit, right? Tom Brady. When they talk about the top 2 inches in any sport, like the intelligence, his football intelligence is off the scale.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
His calmness under pressure, his ability to execute when the pressure's on is unrivaled ever, and not just in his time, but ever in any sport, I'd say.
And his ability to lead a team. To lead a team to win, sometimes from the most impossible situations. Like you think about the Patriots comeback against
that was
Falcons.
incredible.
Just like he's just a man who almost refuses to lose and can convince a team that
his strength of will. You look at his combine. Look at his stats when he came to the league. Look at 199th in the draft, completely written off, too slow, not athletic enough, poor in the pocket, hasn't got a very good arm, blah, blah, blah. You look at his scouting report. He just keeps going, man, and went until he was like in his mid-40s. And I'm not knocking Bill Belichick. He's obviously a fantastic coach, and they were a great team. But all that I was so pleased for Brady when he left the Patriots, when he went to Tampa Bay, which I thought he was crazy to do.
Everyone
I
did.
thought you were going to tarnish your reputation here, mate. You're the greatest of all time. Why do you want to go to Tampa Bay for? Why? You know, I tell you why. Because I want another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
With a rank outsider. And if you remember, the Patriots stunk after that as well.
Yeah, they haven't been good since.
And I'm not knocking Belichick. I think Belichick's a great coach, but I think he was a great coach of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Right? He set that team up around Brady, which you should do because the man's amazing. And you've got to give your props to Belichick when Bledsoe got injured and he stuck with Brady. You know, he obviously he knew the writing was on the wall. But to win 6 Super Bowls and have that hunger, mate, and to be a multi-millionaire and recognized as the best of all time, and then think, do you know what, shall I retire? Nah, I'm going to come back. I love playing football. Where am I going to go? I'll go to Tampa Bay for a season. Tampa Bay.
Yeah. He said he was. He said I was watching an interview with him about it, and he said he said he made a list where he said, you know, coaching, teammates, skill positions, weather, quality of life. It was like
beautiful.
He put that in the list of all. And
why wouldn't you?
And it was like he just looked at the scores.
He's got nothing to prove on the field, right?
Well, and
I'm a big Burt Reynolds fan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's a surprise. You, Mike, you like Burt Reynolds? God, that's throw me that.
Pick your jaw up, mate. Nobody got a lot of criticism of making a lot of bad films, right? Bear in mind, he was like number 1 in the box office 5 years in a row, and he still made some, on the surface of it, bad films. But listen to his book, and Burt Reynolds says, I never made a film I didn't want to make. I either liked my leading actors, or I liked the leading lady, or I liked the location, or it was written by a friend, or directed by a friend, or, you know, or the money was amazing, and I could go and do stuff that I wanted to do. There was always a great reason for doing it. So for Tom Brady to go, oh, well, I fancy a bit of sunshine. I've played in the snow enough.
Yeah.
Let's go and have a bit of sun. Let's go to Raymond James. And that's a great stadium. I love the theatre of it. I love the cannons. I love all that sort of nonsense.
Yeah, so
let's go there.
If you haven't seen Tampa Bay's stadium, it's got kind of like it's kind of got a part of a
galleon. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's got a fucking pirate ship, kind of
bonkers bastards. I love it.
Like there was a thing a couple of weeks ago where they were like, AI designs the perfect NFL stadium.
I saw that. There were some great ones on there.
And there were these kind of like crazy AI designs. But actually, Tampa Bay feels like they've kind of already done that.
Yeah, Tampa Bay hadn't changed. That was the thing.
And they if you score a touchdown, they fire off the cannons. It's a bit like Disneyland meets kind of meets the NFL.
And you say about the sporting gods conspiring. No team had ever won a Super Bowl in their own stadium. Right? So statistically, you know, you're 54 Super Bowls in. Where am I going to go? I wouldn't mind winning one more before I retire. Let's go to somewhere let's go to the place that's hosting the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I know.
Because that's never been done. A team's never won a Super Bowl in its own stadium until now. And then who'd you phone? You know, who are you going to throw the ball to? Your mate who's retired. You know, Gronk?
Rob
Brady.
Gronkowski. Amazing.
Need you, man.
He said Gronk had been retired for a year and he hadn't seen Tom Brady in 9 months. And Tom Brady called him up and said, I'm in town. They were both in New York. And he said, look, should we go and just throw a ball around for a bit? Just to see if we've still got it. And he said Brady called up Kevin Durant, the basketball player, and said, could you get us a bit of space to train? So they went down to the Knicks facilities and just started tossing the ball back around.
How it happened?
They were like, we've still got it. It's like we've still got it.
Chemistry between those
and
two.
it was like, do you know what? I'm going to Tampa Bay. Do you want to come with me? And he was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. It's like, it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's changed though, but they were the holders of the most, the partnership with the most touchdowns in postseason kind of period. But I think it now belongs to Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah.
But, which
Very
again,
similar relationship, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say it is, isn't it? The tight end and the kind of goat.
Big, strong
QB.
tight end, crossing patterns, high percentage passes. Just get it done. When you get in that red zone where it's really tough to score, you can be the fastest bloke in the combine, right? But if it's a 1st and goal from the 8, that doesn't make a difference.
Yeah,
you're not gonna hit top speed in 8 yards, right? You need when there's a ton of defenders in a narrow space. Okay, all you need is someone with a really good pair of hands that's really good at getting either open or just dominating defenses.
That's massive. It's absolutely
Gronkowski
massive.
does that, and Kelsey does that.
Yeah.
They're very similar players, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what a safety valve! I know without Bell, that's not meant as a slight. What you're in the shit, right? You got your man there in midfield, and he's not going to drop it.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. Was like, I had a question for you regards this season, because a lot of the chat was kind of, so people use this phrase a lot in the NFL where they go, "Oh, this particular franchise are all in." And there's this phrase of being all in that I wanted to ask you about, because there's a sense of like, oh, you have a Super Bowl window, say you might have star quarterback or brilliant wide receiver, and it's like, how can we make the most of this player while we've got them and try and win a Super Bowl? And some franchises do it by going all in, where essentially you max out your salary cap, and rather than growing a team with youth, you kind of make the trade away your draft picks, so that you're not going to be able to bring in talent in the next few years, so you can get in veterans and see if they've got one more tilt at it. And it's like, you get in Rob Gronkowski, you get in Antonio Brown, you get in, who was the running, Len Fournette, like you get in like the running back. Yeah. And it's like, you kind of go all in, and that's what they did, isn't it? They went all in on the Brady experience. And do
you know what? I wish we're both Packers fans, right?
Yeah.
There's no way Aaron Rodgers should have won one Super Bowl. There's no way Brett Favre should have won one Super Bowl, right? But it is hard, because what you got to do in the NFL, it's so hard to repeat. That's why what Brady did is amazing, because you can go all in. You can go all in for that season, and you can bring great players in. Yeah. But 2 things happen then, right? The first thing is, you do really well, you're going to get the last pick in the draft, right? But also, you do really well, all those players want more money, right? It's a money league, and you can't blame them for it. You got a 3-year career on average, right? So if you're going all in, it's usually a short-term thing. We're going to win a Super Bowl this year, but it has to be this year. It's shit or bust. What do you say in Britain? Shit or bust.
Shit or bust.
They call all in. We call it shit or bust. Isn't it? That's what it is.
Totally. That's it, yeah.
And it's just going to cost us how much? And then you got to defer payments, and you got to restructure people's contracts and punt things down the line and move draft picks around, and to make room for that one season that is shit or bust. And they had shit. They did it. They flipping incredible, really.
Oh, incredible.
The America's game about this is really good, right? I've never seen a bad America's game.
Yeah.
It's different class. You mentioned old Leonard Fournette there.
Yeah.
Playoff Lenny. He hated being called Lenny. I didn't know that. He said, no one else called me Lenny. I had my nickname from college. You never knew that. And Devin White's talking about it. He said, but Tom Brady started calling him Lenny. So he says, I got to call him Lenny in the change. He's like, hey, don't wait, that's not my nickname. Don't start calling me Lenny. I'm not Lenny. And then everyone's calling him Lenny. And he just thought, fuck it, I'm Lenny.
I'm Lenny.
I'm Playoff Lenny. That's me.
Fair enough.
And Playoff Lenny's a much better name than Super Bowl Lenny, by the way.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Playoff Lenny's cool.
You can't change it on the day.
No.
Playoff. I'm NFC Championship Lenny. It's a shit name.
The other thing that it really made you realise looking back over the season, and I saw there's a really good documentary on the BBC actually about Tom Brady.
Is there?
It's still on the iPlayer.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
What's that called?
It's called Man in the Arena. I think, is it called Man in the Arena? It's
always on the lookout for good docs, Tom.
Yeah, it's on the iPlayer, and it's kind of, it finishes with him at Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl. Okay. It's from a few years back now, but it's worth a watch. And
I saw one of the worst docs ever. I mean, with my other podcast, Distant Pod there.
Oh, yeah.
We're on episode 270. We've probably done 270 documentaries that we've covered. And one of the ones on Brady is the worst doc I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
It's done on the complete cheap.
Yeah.
Brady's not in it at all.
Oh, right.
nor is any footage of Brady. I just thought, what the fuck is this?
This has got a lot of Brady, but that's about it. So it's like Brady and his dad and Gronkowski. So it's very much kind of a celebration of the Tom Brady experience.
The way Brady looked after himself, right? You couldn't go to Tampa Bay and do that if you're the average 40-year-old bloke, right?
Yeah.
The way he looked after himself, the way he took care of his body and his mind and everything. His regime is incredible. If you look at what his day-to-day thing was, the way that he looked after himself, he looks amazing. I mean, I can't believe he's the age he is. He looks fantastic, right?
That's what makes when I think about Brady, when you think about tennis players, right? Like when you think about Federer and the beauty of how Federer plays tennis, and Nadal, these are two like these God-given gifts. Like that's how when you watch them, it feels like you're watching, just someone from a higher tier of being almost. But next to them is a player like Djokovic, who is there through sheer will to win and determination and hard work. And he's now won more titles than they have. And I think about that with Brady. When you think about the great quarterbacks, and like when we looked at Dan Marino, and people talk about the way it looks when Dan Marino throws a football, and the beauty, and Aaron Rodgers, when people talk about the aesthetics of Aaron Rodgers as a player, and Brady himself has said like he's the perfect. No one can throw a ball better than Aaron Rodgers, but with 2 minutes to go, if you're down and you need to get someone on the field to lead you down the field to victory, you would only choose Tom Brady. And no one goes goo gaga about watching Brady throw a ball and the beauty of it. But those Brady drives,
they're amazing. Which is why in this, the one thing that pinged out for me in the NFL Films doc, the America's Game doc, is that play when he thought it was a fourth down. He checked over to the chains and it said third down. Yeah. Sorry, he thought it was a third down, and it was fourth down. And Mike Evans saying, the one chain on one side of the field had the four on it, the other chain, just a mistake. They'd forgot to change it. And that's about the only time he would have been livid about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he prided himself. Like the way that he worked a clock, there's no one has ever worked a clock like. If you don't know much about the game, the way that you can stop the clock, the way you can manage a clock at the end of a game. You knew if you were 2 scores up against Brady, and you're just in front of the 2-minute warning, you're in trouble there.
You're in trouble. Right? It's mad. It's mad.
Which is and you always were.
Yeah.
The way that he could unpick that Super Bowl you're talking about with the comeback. I have a Sunday night club here at the house every Sunday watching the football. And I'd love you to come along. You know that, mate. And I'm sure you will at some point this season. That Super Bowl, we were just all going home. All the lads were packing up.
It's done.
And I was putting the glasses away and stuff. And at the end of the third quarter, I thought, I'll watch a bit more. And I went, no. And then I was do a bit more, no. And then a bit more, fuck off. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Yeah. I could not believe it.
Yeah.
The way I love American football, right? I love rugby, I love football, I love cricket, I love loads of sport. But the thing that elevates the NFL for me is you have to, and some people see it as a weakness, but I see it as a strength. And you mentioned the chess thing earlier. But it's like the chess in Star Wars. They play on 3 different levels, right? Because there's so many things to do. You got to get the line of scrimmage. You're watching the game clock. You're watching the officials. Okay, you're watching. You've got your play coming in from your coaches. You're then checking down to the defense, seeing what's going on. You're audibilizing. They're rotating defense. You've probably got 3 passing routes, and you're going to check down from 3 to 1. Then there's so much going on.
So much.
And at the end of that, that's before you've memorized 500 plays. And then you got 80,000 people there, and you can't hear yourself think. And then you've got to get down and kill the clock. So you've got to think about that. It's on another level, and the way that he did it. But I'm saying his mind is incredible. But because he looked after himself so well, I mean, his 40-yard time was never great, but it was better in his 40s than his combine. He ran a. Have you seen that one when they do the split screen?
Yeah, and he
runs a faster
himself.
40 than he did when he was 21.
Could you imagine doing the same? Could you imagine if someone put footage of you racing your 21-year-old self? I'd have that footage destroyed.
Well, I was believe it or not, I was quick at 21, right? And now I'm really slow, right? Yeah. But Brady was never particularly quick. It didn't have to be, right? That wasn't the way he played. But the fact that he got quicker, and he got criticised for his arm strength. Watch him throw a spiral, mate. Watch how tight it is. Watch receivers. Mike Evans talking about when he would run a route. He said, as I turn around, outside shoulder throw, the ball's in my hands. Yeah. It's there. I haven't got to try to catch it.
It's just there.
He's
a great wide receiver, by the way. Mike Evans, great wide receiver.
His record's incredible.
That it's just fascinating. What's incredible, I think, is seeing, and it really does that whole conversation about, was Brady only good because of Belichick? What this season did is you see it's full of people who, yes, they're a really talented team, but they haven't been to the playoffs. You cannot stress enough in 13 years. And psychologically, what it means to have that man on your sideline. And even when you're down, for him to be walking down that line, talking to the team.
Well, this is the thing, right? That season. So the first game they lose, right? They then get swept by, I think the Saints swept them home and away.
Saints swept them. They beat them, was it 38-3 the second time they played them? Thrashed
them. You know what I mean?
In week 9. In week 9.
And you think, well, even if we get a wild card, okay, even if we get to the playoffs, we're not going to beat New Orleans. But the way that he unpicks teams, unless we got to give some credit to Bruce Arians as well, right?
So we should. Yeah, Bruce Arians is and that was
not only for being the only coach I can think of that wears a beret. Yes, please.
Cool. Fucking cool. He's a fashion icon of mine. As a bald man who's entering,
he like the woman from
middle age,
like the woman from a low. A little niche reference there for the American fans.
The man has got
great look. He came out of retirement. He'd retired, Bruce Arians.
Yeah. He reminds me.
The workload on coaches, apart from Bud Grant, the workload on coaches is 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So you've got to come out of retirement. You're coming out of retirement. Brady's, everyone thinks he's done. Gronk comes out of retirement. Lenny Fournette can't be coached. He's pissed various people off. All these players to come together. So Devin White's in this. I love the bit. He's talking about working, and my rugby head clicked on a bit there. A lot of times when there have been really good front row players for Wales, they've been sheep farmers, right?
Right.
Because you're used to just grabbing sheep, shearing sheep, grabbing hay bales, throwing them in the back of trucks, right? You grew up like that.
Yeah.
And Devin White said, I just grew up as a kid working on the farm all the time, picking up massive hay bales by the cords and throwing them in the back of a truck. This is his grip strength. I love that. And obviously, all these boys go to gyms and work the bollocks off. But when you got natural strength,
just farm,
and they show that one tackle, he just gets a hand on a shirt,
and that's all he needs.
And that's a running back going flat out. You just go, that'll do me. Just a hand on with your shirt's enough. You're not going anywhere, pal.
Yeah,
bang, get the floor.
Yeah.
I loved him. I loved him when he's on the horse at the end.
Oh, he's a great character, isn't he? He's a great character.
Yeah.
Mad to think that. So that season they were 7-5. So you think
that's
about,
what I mean.
like very incredible. And the other thing worth saying is their playoff run. There's something really satisfying about this from a Tom Brady point of view. The Saints had beat them twice. And they get through the wild card round. They then go to the Saints. They still have to go to New Orleans, and it's Drew Brees.
They've beat you twice that year.
Yeah, but also Drew Brees, who is up there with Tom Brady. In fact, has more touchdown throws than Tom Brady, or certainly more passing yards. So a Hall of Fame quarterback in the conversation as one of the greatest of all time in terms of, statistics. But again, only one
defense has virtually blanked you.
Only one Super Bowl ring. And Brady beats Drew Brees. Then in the next round, Packers at Lambeau Field.
All right, mate.
Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to mention that.
Again, someone who's always in the conversation. Who's the GOAT? A lot of people would say Aaron Rodgers.
Did you think we were going to lose that game? I can remember watching that game thinking there's no way we're losing this game.
Absolutely heartbroken watching that game. I have to bury that now. It was one of the most painful Packers games I've ever watched. It was brutal. But again, for him to then go to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, who were reigning champs, and Patrick Mahomes,
Superman,
who was the MVP. Everyone's saying this is the guy who's going to surpass Tom Brady. He's the guy who's going to surpass his Super Bowl rings. And so he goes past Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes to the Super Bowl. Like, that's their run to the Super Bowl. That's
their defense too, mate. That's their defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible run. And it is always the way defenses win you championships as well. I mean, they have to have had.
Imagine shutting down those three in a row.
Yeah,
all the way from okay, the Super Bowl's a home game, but technically, it's not stacked full of home fans. It's a Super Bowl, but I mean, so you're away at the divisional, you're away at the wild card, away at the divisional, you're away at the conference game.
Yeah.
I never thought of it in those terms before. You've beaten Brady, Rodgers, and then you got to beat Mahomes.
Yeah. So it's like, what an incredible way to do that. And by
the way, vindication for me, Tom. Vindication for Bubbins, right?
Yeah, go on.
There was a Wikipedia entry about me once.
Oh, yeah.
It was called Bubbins Bullshit. And all. And it was obviously done by somebody that quite likes me, because they must listen to the other podcast.
Okay.
Which is that I let them off.
Yeah.
But they said make up stories such as the time when he alleges that Tom Brady threw the Super Bowl trophy between boats. I said, but he fucking did.
He did.
People think I make it up.
And here it is.
And then you see that.
Here it is. Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Imagine throwing that between both. And what a flotilla, mate.
So when they say we should say the Super Bowl victory, the parade.
You always get a parade, right?
Yeah. They decided to do it by boat.
I'm amazed no one drowned on that parade.
That's a mad thing to do.
That's a lot of drunk people on a river there, and a lot of boats in it.
Yeah. And Brady threw the Super Bowl trophy from his boat to Gronkowski's boat, and Gronk catched it. They're heavy, man. They're heavy.
I've seen when the Vikings came over about I know time rattles, it's probably 10 years ago. They came to Wales on as part of a UK tour. They did a Q&A down at the place called the New Theatre, and I had to go interview who was down there. So Harrison was down there, and there was a fella called Eric Hendricks, and there was a fella called Anthony Barr. But anyway, so I interviewed all of them, and then they had a Super Bowl trophy there, which I assume is the real thing.
Yeah.
And that's the closest I've ever been to a Super Bowl trophy.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful trophy.
It's good. So
I can't imagine launching it pissed between boats. What an incompletion that'd be. Imagine that. Fuck me.
Yeah, amazing. So there you go. I mean, let's finish it off. Just talk about Brady's legacy, right? Because this kind of, it feels like more than any other, this is the one that really, because people could have with other kind of franchises where they've had those kind of experiences. People say, well, it was a great team. They went on a great run. But for him to move to Tampa Bay and do it again, all over again, it really does kind of elevate him. And whenever it comes to these kind of greatest of all time conversations, do you think it's definitely Tom Brady? And do you think...
Yeah. I used to have an hour about it. And I am denied about it until this win, to be honest. even after that comeback in the Super Bowl, I thought, fair play. But I was still thought, yeah, but is it Belichick? Is it this? Is it the system? Is it when he went to Tampa Bay to a below average team that never gets to the playoffs and wins it in the first year, and then I never thought about that before. Those last three quarterbacks, and obviously that's the defense doing the job, but you've got to outscore those people as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I know the NFL is 105 years old, right? And I know that you can only ever play against the teams in your time and play with the players in your time. So that comparing, was Otto Graham a better player? Was Red Grange a better player? Was Joe Montana a better player? Was Bart Starr a better player? I don't know is the answer, but I can't see how anybody could be a better. I can't see anybody above Brady. If you had to pick a player, right? If you had to pick a player, and there's only been about 25,000, 30,000 players in the history of the NFL, right? There's some weird stat that every player who's ever played in the NFL wouldn't fill half a stadium, which is a mad stat.
That's mad.
Well, let's look at that half full stadium and say you've got to pick one player here to lead your team. You've got one pick, right? If you don't pick Brady, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. And I love the Packers. And I love football. I'm a bit of a student, not a student of the game, but I've loved it for a long time, and I like the history of it. And I get there were fantastic players in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. I get it. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying he was in a league completely set up for parity with a salary cap, with really with a salary cap and a strictly enforced draft. No rival leagues to go to, so all your best players are playing there. There hasn't been a rival league since the AFL, really. I know the USFL had a punt at it. So you got all the best players playing there. You've got a strict salary cap. You got the draft, and a much more limited draft than it used to be, right? Everything's geared up for those players to be equal and those teams to be equal. And like I said, every time you win a championship, you get the last pick. Right?
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
And every time you win a championship, your extra games will be against teams that are really, really good. Right?
Yeah.
To win 6 Super Bowls and then go to a new team in the first year and with a new coach and a new offense.
And lockdown.
And lockdown.
Fucking hell, yeah. When he first joined, it was lockdown. So they
couldn't train properly.
They couldn't all meet up properly. They couldn't train properly.
And then win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Was it Gale Sayers? Was it Walter Payton? Was it I could name you 100 players that I'd love to watch play football. 1,000 players. But if I had to pick one player from that half full stadium, there's no one I'm picking in front of Tom Brady.
Yeah. He knew how to win. Knew how to win at all costs.
And he's And talk to the players who played around him. Talk to the receivers. Talk to the offensive line. Talk to his running game. Talk to his defense. Talk to his special teams. Yeah. Talk to his positional coaches and head coaches. Right. Yeah. I'm glad that him and Belichick appear to have made up now.
Yes.
By the way, as much as I love Tom Brady as a player, and I do, I think he's absolutely incredible. I got to say, as a comedian, the roast of Tom Brady is the worst thing I've ever seen on television.
It's awful.
If you're British, it is unwatchably bad.
I mean,
because we like to take the piss, right? If you'll never hear such abuse in the UK as a bunch of mates who meet together in a pub, right?
Yeah.
And it is fucking relentless. And someone's taken in turns to be the butt of the joke all night, right? And my wife listens to the way I speak to my mates, goes, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? I say, yeah, they're good mates.
Yeah, I love it. Right. I love him.
And they don't do that in America. They're too polite. So they sort of take it all out in a roast.
Yeah.
I watched that roast. And I 15 minutes in, I said, I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think...
It's like, what are you slagging people's wives for?
I know, it's brutal.
What are you doing?
Brady, the player, is a different beast to Brady, the personality. And I think now it's interesting in this kind of next stage of his career. I mean, he's not a particularly popular broadcaster. He's got the job of being the kind of chief co-commentator at Fox, and a lot of people don't really enjoy that. I can't particularly warm to him, I must admit, doing that.
Yeah, I don't particularly like him. There's a lot of people I'd rather. I think Chris Collinsworth, I'd much rather listen to him. I'd much rather listen to Tony Romo.
And there's a big debate going on now as well, because he is
the Raiders thing.
He's an owner of the Raiders. And because, he's a minority owner at the Raiders, and he's also this commentator who is allowed access to other teams' preparation for games that he's commentating on. So he gets to be in these kind of briefing rooms.
Of interest, doesn't it?
Exactly. And a lot of people are upset and saying, well, Brady's been shown preferential treatment. Although there is part of me that thinks, look, if I'm in charge of the Packers and we're playing Brady's Raiders next week, and Brady's in our facility this week, I'm just not going to tell him stuff.
Tell him the wrong stuff.
Just tell him all the wrong stuff. Yeah. Like everyone knows what's going on.
Yeah, we're going to go for fourth and goal every time.
I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to tell him stuff if you don't want to.
No, don't tell. Here's an idea.
We're all grown-ups. So there is that element to it. But I
find him quite an engaging character when he's in interviews and stuff. I like to listen to him. I know what you mean about the problem he's got when he does comms, and it was a problem when Tony Romo first started off as well. He knows the game so well, that it's almost like a spoiler alert. It's like they're going to do this now.
Yeah.
All right, Tom, let me watch the game, mate.
yeah, that's it. They know the game too well.
I know you know that.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
But as a player, mate, as a player and an athlete, unrivaled. Awesome. Well, Bubs, I enjoyed that immensely. Yeah, me too. Thanks, man.
And go and check out America's Game. Go and check out the documentaries. And I mean, the good thing about looking at a season this close is, if you do pay for a Game Pass, you can go back and watch the game tonight. Like, all those games are still there. They're just there's like a real library to go and watch. I might do that tonight. Cheers, Bubs. Have a good week. And
cheers, Tom. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah, Victory Formation. We'll see you next week on Any Given Wednesday.
I'll have to go and fire a cannon downstairs. Is
that a euphemism?
Not for a while.